morning, everybody. This is Dan from Backpacking Adventures. Back here with Dakota again. We're back on the Black Forest Trail for a very late fall trip. So this is the Black Forest Trail, which is about a 42-mile loop. Last time we did this was in, I think, May. I think it was. We did it in an overnight, but this time, since we're expecting some winter weather, we have a lot more gear, a lot more warmer quilts. So our packs are much heavier. And I'll be going over the gear that I'm hiking in, gear that we have for camp, that kind of stuff as we go throughout the trip. But now it's just time to get on down the trail. We're about a mile or two-ish in, and we're on our giant climb up, and it's pretty cold out. It's in the 30s, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to sleet and or snow. It's kind of off and on. When we started, it was raining, but I'll take the sleet and snow over the rain. But the weather for this trip is supposed to be in the low 30s for the highs during the day, and the low 20s into the teens at night. And just like right now, there's a wind, there's a breeze. But both places we're camping, it's down in like a gully or something, so hopefully that blocks the wind. But we have the right gear for it. But that's just Pennsylvania weather at its best. You know, it'll be 50 degrees one day, 10 degrees the next, and everywhere in between. It's never a constant state. One of the things that Black Forest Trail is famous for are these beautiful views, and I can tell you they look totally different. Like, we're doing this, I've done this trail in the spring, in the summer. I never did it in the fall foliage, which I want to do sometime. This technically isn't a winter trip, but we're getting winter weather, but it's a totally different dynamic, totally different view. With the cold weather, it's a totally different planning situation. So as long as you do these in different seasons, different directions, man, the same trail is like a whole new trail. It's really, really neat. We stopped for lunch about a half an hour ago. I think it's going on like 1:30, something like that, maybe closer to 2. We stopped at our favorite picnic table we normally do. It's like at a campground. We've just been going up, I don't know, I think it's close to 2 miles, you think, a hill?
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing about hiking in real cold weather. You have to constantly, it's like you just can't run up the hill and get soaking wet with sweat. You kind of have to take off your hat. You know, I had to take my hood down, take off my buff, gloves, open up my thing. Like, you have to really regulate the temperature, and that slows you down, because the one thing you don't want to do is start sweating and get wet, because when you might be fine while you're moving, but when you stop, you will get cold and you can get hypothermic. So to me, the most difficult part of like winter hiking or cold weather hiking or trips, backpacking trips, is the hiking part, because at camp, I got camp clothes, I'm good. Sleeping, I'm good. It's hiking where you have to kind of constantly regulate and keep your your temperature regulated. That's always the most difficult part, because a lot of times you just don't want to stop, you know, to take off a layer. And then when you get to the top and you're on the flat and you get cold, you got to put it back on. So, but it's just something you just kind of have to do. The plan is to go like 15 miles today at a really nice camp spot, and then do another 15 or maybe more, maybe less tomorrow, and then like 10 or 12 out the next day. So that's the plan. Of course, that could all change, but it's getting late in the day. We're getting hungry, and we'll be coming up on camp probably in an hour. It'll probably be dark when we get there though, because we got a little bit of a later start this morning than what we wanted to. All right, we made it to camp, and it's about 4:15. We made some pretty good time. We stopped back at a site that I camped at a couple years ago. Wanted to camp there again, but there's a big dead tree, so we moved on. This site is actually pretty nice. We're kind of back here. We're going to be close to each other only because the firing is right here, and where we're going to hang was very close, and we want to make a fire tonight. So we didn't want to be too close because of smoke getting everywhere and everything, and embers popping up. But it's getting late. It's going to start getting dark soon. It's starting to snow. We got water over there, so we don't have to worry about that tomorrow. Or sleeping with water. We'll just have enough, you know, just to go, and then we'll be good. But so time to set up, and then we're going to eat. Just got everything all set up, and it's dark, but it's funny because we were just talking about like I was thinking, like, we're so hungry, it's so late. It's only like 5:15. Like, we're thinking it's so late, but it's only like 5 o'clock. But that's just because it gets dark so early, and normally when we're out in the warm weather, you know, it doesn't get dark until like 8, 9, 9:30. So so it's still early. So we're gonna hang a line to hang our bear bags. I'm going to go over my gear in a little bit, but we're going to eat first. So we're going to hang our line, and then we're going to eat. Well, since we're getting ready to eat, and we got water, and since it's so cold out this trip, I don't bring the regular smart water bottles, because one, if it gets too cold, they can kind of crack because they're not really good plastic. So I bring a Nalgene bottle, and we didn't bring our filters. So we each have this is called a Sterapen, and you just turn it on. You put it in, and a UV light will turn on, and you just stir it, and it kills everything. Well, it makes it inert. It doesn't really kill anything, but it makes it safe to drink, in other words. And the reason is because, I mean, it's 28 degrees right now, so, and it's only going to get colder tonight. So you got to worry about your water filter freezing, and then while you're hiking during the day, you'd have to keep it in your pocket and only take it out like when you're filtering water, which it still could freeze. You still could get ice crystals in one of those filters. So this is just a lot easier. Oh, I got this frowny face. I took it out too soon. But this is just easier to use, and it's a lot faster. And you just don't have to worry about it having to keep it in your pocket or sleep with it at night or whatever. Just fill up. Now, the only downside to it is if for whatever reason we will get any kind of rain or anything like that, and if the water's muddy, then this, of course, doesn't filter that out. So I've been using this for a couple years in the winter time, and it works really well. So for dinner, I am having what am I having? Packet Gourmet chicken and dumplings. It's in this. I use this as a pot koozie a little bit. I'll probably switch to a regular one here soon. But I have that. I had beef jerky I already ate. Kit Kat bar, and a protein bar. I think that might be in my pocket too. I don't know where that's at. That disappeared, but that's somewhere.
I ate it.
He probably ate it. What are you having?
I am having American Burger from Packet Gourmet, the American Works Burger.
Excellent. There's some excellent dinner. But yeah, so we're gonna eat. And what I'm wearing, I remember saying what I was gonna
tell you about what I was wearing. For the three things I consider when I'm out here in cold weather, and now granted this isn't like Arctic weather, but it's cold. We're in the 20s right now, probably 25. But I consider hiking when I'm at camp and when I'm sleeping. And hiking today, I wore tights, but they were insulated running tights for like winter. They were warm. They really worked out. They're windproof. I'll put the link. I'll put a thing to what the brand is. I can't remember. I got off Amazon, but they're windproof. They're water resistant, like water repellent, I guess. And they're insulated. They're very warm. So I had those. I had the shorts over it, of course. I used trail runners. Dakota did too, but they were Gore-Tex ones with real thick hunting darn tough socks. Up above, it was just a base layer top, kind of like a blue fleece that I got at Costco. I think it was from 32 Degrees, but it's a thin one. And then my Peloton over top of it. My one I used for when I was fatter, because now it fits over things. So that's what I hiked in, and I had like a beanie hat and my buff that I had just to put off and on, and it's hunting season, so I wore plenty of orange. Now, when I got to camp, I have my puffy that I put on over top because I do have clothes to sleep in if I wanted to change. I have a whole another set of pants and tops, another fleece in there, the whole 9 yards, a whole bunch of socks, hats. But when I get to camp and if I'm dry, I don't change because I just don't want to change out of clothes. And I know some people do change, some people don't. I'm one of those people that doesn't, unless I'm wet. If I was sweaty and my clothes were a little bit damp, I would definitely change out of them. But I have my Torrid Apex puffy coat. I have my Torrid Apex puffy pants that I just put on over top. And I have these booties from Outdoor Research. They're really nice. They're insulated. And they're supposed to have they're for winter. They're for cold weather, for camp shoes. That's what they are. These aren't my sleep booties because I have Enlightened Equipment sleep booties that I'll put on when I go to bed. But I did get these shoes big enough that I can put those booties on. If it's like really cold, I can put them on inside of those, so there's enough room. And I put like this felt wool kind of really insulated insole in it just for added protection. And my feet are nice and warm. Like I don't feel the cold at all. But we wore trail runners. Probably next trip, if it's a little bit colder than this, we'll be switching to our winter boots kind of thing. But this was warm enough during the day in the 30s, so as you're moving, it worked well. Now, if I was like not gonna have camp shoes, then I would have taken boots because my feet started to get cold once we stopped here. But tomorrow, I'm a little kind of concerned about it because the high is supposed to be like 25 degrees with a wind chill of single digits. So the feet, I don't know. I have a vapor barrier I'm going to put on over my socks just to kind of keep some air out. We'll see. We'll see how it's going to go. I think it's going to be fine. But, you know, in sleeping clothes, I do have another set to put on like to sleep in. But like I said, I'll take the puffies off. I'm not going to sleep in those. But I can if it gets real cold. But they'll come off and I'll just sleep in my hiking clothes and then get up and I'll be ready to go. Because to me, I just don't like to take off clothes like that I'm warm in this kind of cold. It just makes me colder, and I don't want to have to change that in the morning. So, but again, that's only if I'm dry, which is most of the time in the winter time anyway. So, but yeah, we're waiting for our stuff to heat up, and then we are going to eat. And there's some wood here. We're gonna gather some sticks, and we're gonna try to make this a small fire, nothing raging inferno kind of thing. And probably go to bed like relatively early. I mean, not real early, but it's only like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 6:30, but that's the plan for tonight.
Rock on, baby.
All right, it is after 9 o'clock and we're hitting the hay. We are had our little fire. Didn't last long. We just didn't really want a big fire at all. It got real windy, so we kind of just let it die out and then we put it out. But for the gear for my trip, I have the West Rim hammock. It's a netless hammock from Hemlock Mountain Outdoors. I have my 20-degree Burrow Phoenix underquilt, which is 3/4 underquilt. I have my underquilt protector from Hammock Gear on it. I have my 20-degree burrow top quilt. It's probably going to get down in the teens tonight, so I should be pretty good. I have my tarp down pretty low. And with my underquilt protector, I think it's pretty good. It's windy now. It's getting windy. The wind chill at like, I don't know, 10 o'clock is supposed to be like 13 degrees or something like that. So, but I'm all hunkered down in here, so I shouldn't feel any wind. But it's going to get windy tonight. We're hearing the trees cracking and popping all over the place. Yeah, so now I'm just going to take off some of my whole down suit. And then I'm just going to go to bed. And with that, I will see you tomorrow.